The night was cold, and the rain fell without stopping, hammering against the wooden roof of the small cabin deep in the forest. Thunder growled in the distance, and lightning flashed just enough to show the lonely figure of a man sitting near. The fire inside, he was old enough to have seen war, young enough to still fight if he had to. His name was Cole, and he liked his silence. He had lived alone in that cabin for almost 5 years, with no visitors, no noise, and no trouble. Until that night, a knock echoed through the wooden door. Loud, slow, and shaky. Cole froze. His hand reached automatically toward the shotgun resting beside his chair. He wasn't expecting anyone, and in a place like this, anyone knocking in the middle of a storm wasn't coming with good news. The knock came again, softer this time. More like a desperate plea than a demand. Cole stood up slowly, moved to the door, and opened it just enough to peek through the crack. What he saw made him pause. Kneeling in the mud was a woman, or something that looked like one. She wasn't human, at least not fully. Her skin was pale with a soft shimmer. Her long black hair soaking wet and stuck to her face, and in her arms, wrapped in a rough brown blanket, was a small baby, completely still. The woman's eyes met his, glowing a faint teal color, full of pain and terror. Her lips trembled as she spoke, voice cracking in the cold. "Please, human, my baby. She won't wake up." Cole opened the door wider, letting the storm rush in behind her. He looked down at the strange woman, then at the small figure in her arms. She wasn't lying. He could see it in her eyes. This wasn't a trick. Her arms were shaking, not from the cold, but from the weight of helplessness. She tried to stand, but collapsed again into the mud. Shielding the baby with her body. "Help her," she whispered. "Please." Cole hesitated, his heart fighting his instincts. He didn't trust easily, especially not anyone or anything that came from off-world. But something in that scene, the way she protected the baby, the way her voice cracked like a broken music box broke through the walls he had built inside. Without another word, he stepped forward, reached down, and helped her up. Her body was ice cold. Her armor, or whatever she was wearing, was soaked and broken in places. The baby didn't move at all, not even a twitch. "Come in," he said quietly, leading her inside. The warmth of the cabin wrapped around them like a blanket. The woman sank to her knees again, near the fire. Holding the child tighter, Cole quickly threw more wood into the flames, then grabbed a thick blanket and handed it to her. "Wrap the baby in this," he said. She nodded, carefully unwrapping the wet cloth from the child and replacing it with the dry one. He looked at the child's face, pale, still, eyes closed, lips slightly parted, but no sound. No breath that he could see. "What happened to her?" Cole asked, trying to stay calm. The woman looked up at him with wide, fearful eyes. She stopped crying. Then breathing slowed. "She wouldn't wake up. I tried everything. I ran for 2 days. I heard signal. Found this place." Cole blinked. "You came here?" "On purpose." She nodded. "Your beacon. From old war tech. I followed it. I had nowhere else. Please, human. I don't want to lose her." Cole stared at her, then at the child again. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. An alien mother, possibly from a captured species, clutching what looked like a hybrid child, half human, half alien. He had seen such cases during the war, but never like this. Not with so much emotion, so much raw pain. He got up, pulled out a medkit from the drawer near the kitchen. It was old but functional. He checked the baby's pulse. Faint, but there. That was a good sign. He found a heat patch, activated it, and placed it gently under the baby's back to warm her core. "She's alive," he said. "Barely, but alive." The alien woman gasped, covering her mouth with both hands as tears ran down her face. Her body shook silently, not from the rain this time, but from pure emotion. She reached forward and touched the baby's cheek, whispering something in a language he didn't understand. Cole stared at her for a moment, unsure what to feel. She looked so broken, so exhausted, and yet so full of love for the tiny life in her arms. He had never seen an alien cry before. Not like this. He sat back slowly, watching her rock the baby gently. The rain still hit the windows, but now it's stale. It sounded softer somehow, like a background to something more important, more human. Even if she wasn't one, he didn't know what tomorrow would bring, or who she really was, but one thing was clear. She didn't come to hurt him. She came because he was her only hope, and he had let her in. The fire crackled gently inside the small wooden cabin, sending soft waves of warmth into the room. The alien mother sat close to it, her armor still damp, her long black hair dripping slowly onto the wooden floor, her eyes glowing faintly teal. Never left the baby in her arms. She rocked the child gently, over and over, whispering words in a language Cole couldn't understand. Cole moved carefully, watching both of them. He wasn't used to this kind of situation. He had fought aliens in the war, seen terrible things, but never had one appeared at his door, begging to save a child. And certainly never like this, scared, alone, and crying for help. The baby let out a soft, shallow breath. Cole noticed it. He came closer, slowly, and knelt beside the woman. "She's alive," he said quietly. "That's a good sign, but she's weak. Very weak." The woman looked at him with hopeful eyes. "She moved?" she asked, her voice trembling. "Barely," he nodded. "But she's still here." The mother's lips parted slightly as she held the baby even closer. Her body relaxed, just a little. Cole stood up and walked toward the old supply shelf near the back of the room. He pulled out a tin container, opened it, and found a sealed pouch of nutrient gel. "This is old, but it might help," he muttered. Cutting it open, he brought the small tube over to her. "Try giving her a drop of this. Just one." The woman hesitated, sniffed it carefully, then nodded and placed a single drop on her finger. She gently rubbed it against the baby's lips. Nothing happened at first, then the child's mouth twitched. Her lips moved slightly, just enough to suck in a little. It was a sign, small but real. The mother gasped again, her eyes wide. She takes it." Cole exhaled deeply, finally allowing himself to feel a bit of relief. She's not out of danger yet. But she's fighting. The mother looked at him, truly looked at him. "Thank you." "Human," she whispered. I don't know your name, Cole," he said simply. "Just Cole." She nodded slowly. "I am Byron." They sat in silence for a moment, the storm still growling outside, wind brushing the cabin walls. Cole added more wood to the fire and handed her a dry cloth. "You should clean up. You're shaking." Byron took it with a weak smile, wiping her arms and face. Her skin had a soft shimmer under the firelight, and her features, though alien, had a beauty shaped by pain and strength. She glanced down at her armor, broken and dirty, and sighed. "I ran. I didn't stop for days. I carried her, always. She got cold. I couldn't make fire. I followed signal." Cole frowned. "Signal?" She nodded. "Old tech, from war." "Emergency beacon? You have one under your cabin." Cole blinked. He had forgotten about the beacon. It was buried beneath the floor, an old piece of Alliance tech from years ago, never disabled. He had always meant to turn it off, but never got around to it, and somehow this woman had followed it all the way here. "You found this place because of that?" he asked. "Yes," she said. "I thought maybe someone kind, maybe someone left who still remembers mercy." Cole didn't know what to say to that. He rubbed his hands together, thinking this wasn't just a visitor in need. This was a survivor, someone fleeing from something dark, and she had found her way to him. Out of everyone in the galaxy, the baby made a tiny sound, not a cry. Just a breath, a shift, a faint whisper of life. Viren looked down, her face lighting up like a spark had returned to her soul. "She lives," she said softly. "She lives." Cole watched quietly, unsure what emotions stirred in him. Maybe pity, maybe guilt, maybe something else. He had spent years trying to forget the war, to forget what he had done, what he had seen, but now, in his own cabin, sat the living result of that war, a woman who had escaped death and carried a child born from it. "I have medical gear," he said, "but not enough for long-term care. She needs real treatment, her body. It's different, isn't it?" Viren nodded slowly. "She is not like me. Not like you. Both, but neither." Cole sighed, standing up. "I'll see what I can fix. Maybe the old scanner still works." Viren held the baby close and looked around the room again, her voice quiet. "This place. It's safe. For now," he said, walking toward the back room. "But I don't think you were just running from the cold, were you?" She didn't answer, but the silence spoke enough. Cole paused in the hallway, gripping the doorframe. Something told him that whatever brought her here, it wasn't finished, and if she stayed, danger would follow. But for now, the baby had taken a breath, and the fire still burned, and that was enough, for now. Night passed slowly in the cabin. The rain softened outside, but inside, time felt frozen. The baby slept near the fire, wrapped tightly in blankets, her breathing shallow but steady. Cole sat on a wooden chair, wiping an old medical scanner. Clean. It had dust from years ago, but the screen still flickered to life when he tapped it. A miracle in itself. Viren sat across from him, her arms wrapped tightly around her knees. Her face was pale, but her eyes stayed sharp. Never blinking too long, always watching. She hadn't slept. Her armor had dried but still looked damaged, cracked in places, edges burned. Cole could tell she'd seen more than just cold weather out there. He glanced up, breaking the silence. "You going to tell me what you're running from?" She didn't respond at first, just stared at the fire. Then slowly, she nodded. "You deserve truth." Cole leaned forward, waiting. She took a breath, then began, her voice low, heavy with pain. "I was not born on this planet. My people are called the Valeri. We came in peace long ago, explorers, scientists. We were captured." Cole's expression darkened. "Captured by who?" "The Dominion," she said bitterly. "A human-run group, not from here, mercenaries, ex-soldiers, criminals. They gather alien species, for experiments, tests, breeding." Cole looked away, jaw tight. "I know them. They broke away from the Alliance during the war. No rules, no mercy." Viren nodded slowly. "They kept us in cages, injected. US with things. Mixed blood, forced us to carry children. Some died. Some went mad." Her voice cracked, and she looked down at her hands. "I was one of them. They said I was strong. They wanted me to carry a hybrid, a child born from human and Valeri. They wanted to see what would happen." Cole said nothing, letting the weight of her words settle in the room. "But she is not a monster," Viren whispered suddenly. "Eyes fierce. She is my daughter. No matter how she was made, I felt her heartbeat before she was born. I knew she was mine. I promised I would protect her, even if I died doing it." Cole nodded slowly. "You escaped?" "Yes," she said. "I waited. Studied their routines, found a weak point in the shield system. I ran with her in my arms. They chased me. I barely got off the transport before they destroyed it. I thought I'd lost her. But she was still breathing, weak, but alive." Her voice faded, and she brushed a strand of hair from her face. "I searched for help, but no one would open their doors, till I felt the signal, the old beacon." Cole muttered. "You?" "Followed it here, yes," she said softly. "I didn't know what I would find. but I had to try. For her, they both sat in silence for a moment. Only the fire speaking between them. Cole felt the weight of her story settle into his bones. He had seen cruel things in the war, but this was something darker. Using innocent women like tools, creating life only to test it, control it. He looked at the baby, still wrapped, still fragile. She needs medical care that I can't give here. Viren nodded. Her blood is different. She's not just half of me or half of your kind. She's something new. They said she was the key, the future of their project. Cole stood, pacing slowly. There's an old military outpost not far from here. Deep in the trees, I used to work there. Before it was abandoned, they had advanced med systems, some meant for species with hybrid DNA. Her eyes widened with hope. Can we go there? It won't be easy, Cole warned. It's locked down, and if Dominion scouts are nearby, they'll be watching any tech that lights up again. But it's her only chance. Viren stood quickly, her voice steady now. Then take me there. Please. Cole looked at her, at the woman who had faced monsters and pain, who carried a child made from war but protected it like treasure. He nodded once. We'll go at first light. It's risky. But I won't let that baby die here. She blinked hard, trying not to cry again. Thank you, Cole. He waved it off and started checking his old gear. I'm not doing this because I trust you, he said. I'm doing this because that little girl deserves to live, no matter where she came from. Viren walked over and knelt by her daughter, placing a soft kiss on the baby's forehead. The firelight reflected off her tears, but her voice was strong when she whispered, You hear that, my child? We're going to fight for you. Outside, the rain stopped. But the clouds still covered the stars, and in the dark beyond the trees, something watched the cabin, silent, patient, and waiting. The next step would be dangerous. Morning came. With no sunlight, only gray clouds above the treetops. Cole stood outside his cabin, his old backpack slung over one shoulder, checking the path ahead. The forest was quiet, too quiet. There were no birds, no insects, just the distant drip of water from the leaves. His gut told him they weren't alone out here anymore. Inside, Viren sat near the fire, gently rocking her baby in her arms. The child had made small sounds through the night, tiny gasps and soft breaths, but still hadn't opened her eyes. Her body was warmer now, but still fragile. The nutrient gel helped, but it wasn't enough. She needed something more. Cole came back in, carrying an old metallic case. This scanner still works, he said, placing it on the table. I haven't used it in years, but it's military grade. Should tell us more about what's happening to her. Viren moved closer, holding the baby carefully. Cole opened the lid and powered it up. The screen flickered, then lit up with a blue glow. A soft hum filled the room. He took a small handheld wand and gently ran it over the child's body. From head to toe, the scanner beeped, flashed, and then lines of data began to scroll across the screen. Cole frowned. Leaning in, her vitals are unstable. Oxygen levels are low. Organ functions are fluctuating. Viren's voice cracked. What does it mean? Cole tapped a few buttons, zooming in on the DNA chart. His eyes widened slightly. Her blood. It's not just mixed, it's rewritten. Rewritten. Viren repeated, confused. She's not half of you and half of a human. Cole explained slowly. Her DNA is something new. A combination, yes, but also enhanced in ways I've never seen before. Artificial gene splicing. Synthetic sequences. Viren looked down at the baby, her hands trembling. They called her a prototype. Cole nodded grimly. They weren't just experimenting on you. They were trying to create something, and they nearly succeeded. But she's dying, Viren whispered, her voice breaking. They made her strong, but not complete. She needs help, Cole said firmly. Real medical support. The kind you won't find anywhere except one place. Viren looked up, eyes locked on his. Where? Cole walked to the window and pointed northeast. There's an old outpost, Base 17. It was shut down after the war, hidden deep. In the zone, but I know the way. It had a biolab with nanotech and regeneration pods. It might be able to stabilize her. Viren stood slowly, cradling the baby. Then take me there, now. Cole hesitated. It's not that simple. The outpost is guarded, not by people, but by defense systems left behind. Machines, drones, auto turrets. They activate if they detect alien life forms nearby. She blinked. So I can't go with you? I didn't say that, Cole said. But if we're going, we'll have to move smart. I still have my ID chip. It might keep the systems asleep, but if anything goes wrong, I'll take the risk, she said instantly. For her, anything. He nodded, walking over to an old storage crate. Inside were parts of a suit, light armor, weapons, tools he hadn't touched in years. He started putting it together, his hands moving fast but steady. We'll leave in 20 minutes. Travel light, stay low. Viren placed the baby in a sling tied close to her chest, then adjusted her broken armor straps. Her fingers moved carefully, not like a soldier, but like a mother who couldn't afford to lose her child. She glanced toward the door, then back at Cole. Why are you helping us? Cole paused, halfway into his gear. I've done a lot of things I'm not proud of during the war. I didn't protect those who needed it. Maybe this is my chance to fix that. She looked at him for a long moment, then said softly, Then thank you, Cole. For not turning away, he picked up his rifle and checked the battery. Then slid a long blade into the side holster. Let's go. They stepped out into the forest, where the mist clung low to the ground. The air was thick, and every sound echoed too far. Cole took point, motioning her to stay close. He checked every corner, every branch, every movement. But they didn't notice the tiny red blink of a drone's sensor hidden in the trees. A machine had already seen them, and it was sending a signal as Cole and Viren moved deeper into the woods toward the old base, unaware they were being tracked. The baby stirred again, her small hand curling slightly against her mother's armor. A flicker of life, a spark of hope, but time was running out. The forest thickened as Cole led the way deeper into the abandoned war zone. Viren stayed close behind, holding her baby tight against her chest. Every few minutes, she would glance down to check her daughter's face. Pale, quiet, still breathing. But weak, her tiny hand had moved once more since they left the cabin, and that small motion gave Viren strength to keep going. Cole moved like a ghost through the overgrown trail. His eyes scanned every tree, every movement, every sound. He hadn't walked this path in years, not since the war ended, and yet every step felt familiar. The broken trees, the rusted drones hanging from branches, the silent ruins hidden under moss. This place was once a battlefield. And now it was haunted by memories and leftover machines that didn't forget what they were built for. You all right? Cole asked over his shoulder. Vera nodded, breathing heavily. I can walk. Just don't stop, please. He gave a short nod and kept moving. The base is close, maybe a few kilometers more. We'll cut through the ridge and avoid the open clearing. As they turned toward the narrow path between two large rocks, something clicked beneath Cole's boot. He froze. Don't move, he whispered, raising his hand slowly. Viren stopped immediately, her heart pounding. The baby stirred faintly against her chest, letting out a soft whimper. Cole looked down, his face tightening. Pressure. Mine, Viren's breath caught. Can you disarm it? Maybe, he replied. Or maybe I lose a leg. Either way. You need to back up slowly, right now. She stepped back, keeping her arms firm around the baby. Cole knelt down slowly, pulled a small tool from his belt, and began working on the ancient device buried under the mud. Time seemed to stretch. As his hands moved carefully, sweat forming on his forehead despite the cool forest air. A final soft click, then silence. He exhaled and stepped away. It's disabled. But that means others are active too. Viren nodded, her voice soft. But steady. We'll move slower. Cole gave her a hard look, then nodded. We stay close. Low, quiet. They continued moving, each step placed with caution. The trees around them grew darker, thicker. Almost as if the forest itself was watching. Suddenly, the air shifted, and Cole's instincts flared. He stopped again, this time. Pulling his weapon slowly from his side. What is it? Viren whispered, tightening her grip on her baby. We're being watched, Cole said, scanning the tree line. Machine or something worse. Without warning, a sharp, buzzing sound filled the air. And a black drone shot down from above, its red sensor blinking wildly. Cole fired without hesitation. The plasma bolt hitting the drone's side and sending it crashing into a nearby tree. Smoke rose from its body, but it was too late. It sent a signal, Cole said grimly. They know we're here now, Dominion. Viren asked, fear rising in her voice. Could be, Cole answered, or auto-defense still active. Either way, we move fast from now on. They ran. Slipping through broken roots and fallen metal debris from the old war, Cole cleared the path with his blade. Viren focused only on not falling, not letting the baby slip. Each breath felt heavier, but she refused to stop. Not when they were this close, through the trees. A faint shimmer appeared, the edge of a cloaked building hidden beneath overgrowth and tech camouflage. It looked like a hill from far away. But as they approached, a faint doorway revealed itself, blinking green. That's it, Cole said. Stepping up to a panel on the side, he pressed his ID chip into the slot. And for a moment, nothing happened. Then a soft voice spoke. Identity confirmed. Welcome, Sergeant Cole Harrow. The door slid open slowly, revealing a narrow corridor lined with dim lights and faded metal walls. The inside smelled of dust and old wires, but it was quiet and safe. For now, they entered quickly. The door sliding shut behind them, Cole powered up the main console and began typing commands. The biolab is down this corridor. Left wing, third door. They rushed toward it. Boots echoing in the silent hallway. Viren's arms ached, but she held the baby tighter. The child was cold again, and her breathing had weakened. Please, Viren whispered. Please stay with me. They reached the lab, and Cole opened the medical pod with trembling hands. Put her in gently, he said. Viren laid her baby into the glowing chamber. The scanner lit up immediately, reading her vitals. Beeping warnings in red text, Cole worked fast, adjusting settings, modifying the serum file he'd recovered from an old war archive. It was risky, but it was all they had, finally. The chamber sealed with a soft hiss, and a thin mist filled the pod, the baby's small chest. Moved up and down. Slower than before. Then the lights turned green. Cole stepped back. Now we wait. Viren dropped to her knees, tears falling silently. Please, let her live. Outside, beyond the trees, the signal kept pulsing. They weren't alone, but now they had a chance. Inside the old military base, everything was silent except for the soft hum of the medical chamber. The lights above flickered slightly as the systems powered up. Cole stood near the console, eyes fixed on the scanner as lines of data streamed. Across the screen, Viren sat just beside the pod, her hands pressed against the glass, watching her baby with eyes full of fear, love, and exhaustion. The child's small body lay still inside the chamber, her skin a little less pale now, but still fragile. Tubes and sensors were connected to her arms and chest. The mist inside the pod swirled slowly. Healing vapor, designed to repair tissue and stabilize weak organ functions. It was old tech. But it was working. Cole checked the vitals, speaking. Softly, her heart beats steadier. Oxygen levels are rising. Viren didn't look up. Will she wake up? She's fighting, he said. This chamber will keep her stable while her body repairs itself. It's doing more than I expected. Viren nodded, eyes never leaving the child's face. She looks peaceful. Cole lowered his voice. That's the sedation gas. She's resting. That's what she needs most right now. Viren sat back slowly, resting against the wall. She closed her eyes for the first time since entering the cabin the night before. I haven't slept. In 3 days, she whispered, not since she stopped crying. Cole glanced at her, then reached into his bag and handed her a small water pouch. Drink, you're no good to her if you pass out. She took it with a tired smile and nodded. Thank you. For a moment, they just sat there in silence. The only sound coming from the soft beeps of the chamber. Then Cole's expression changed as he tapped a few buttons on the console. Something's wrong. Viren sat up quickly. What? What is it? Not with the baby, he said. With the system, it just pinged an external sensor breach. Something or someone is outside the base. Her eyes widened. Dominion. Could be, Cole muttered. Could also be an old defense bot, or both. Either way, we've been found. He moved to the hallway, picked up his rifle, and activated the surveillance display on the wall. The screen blinked, showing several red dots approaching from the trees, 3 heat signatures, all large, moving fast. Too fast for animals. Viren stood slowly, still watching the baby in the pod. I can't leave her. You won't, Cole said, voice steady. I'll handle them. You stay here. Lock this door behind me. If I don't return in 10 minutes, get into the emergency shaft and escape. Take her and run south. Viren shook her head. No. Not alone, you have to, he said firmly. This base won't protect her if they breach it. You're a mother. Protect your child. Her lips trembled, but she nodded. Don't die, Cole. He gave a small smirk. I've already done that once. Don't plan on doing it again. He stepped into the corridor, and the door sealed behind him. Viren turned to the baby once more, resting her forehead gently against the chamber. Stay strong, little one. He's buying us time. Outside, the rain had returned, falling lightly over the dense trees as Cole moved through the brush like a shadow. He took position near the west entrance and waited. The red lights on his rifle blinked in sync with his heartbeat, steady and... A moment later, movement, one figure, then another. Dressed in black armor with red visors, Dominion scouts, Cole narrowed his eyes, raised his weapon, and fired the first shot. The bolt hit the first enemy straight in the chest. Sending him crashing backward, the second scout turned and opened fire. Blue plasma bolts streaking through the trees. Cole ducked, rolled, and came up behind a fallen log, returning fire. His shot clipped the soldier's arm, and he let out a scream. Another figure rushed in from the side, but Cole was ready. Blade drawn. Quick, clean, strike down. 3 enemies. All neutralized in under a minute, but Cole didn't relax. He knew there were more nearby. He had to return quickly. He grabbed one of the scout's cum devices and crushed it under his boot. No one's calling back up tonight, he muttered, back inside the lab. Viren heard the faint sound of gunfire through the walls. Her heart raced, but she didn't panic. Instead, she sat beside the chamber and reached in to place her hand gently against the child's. And then a sound. A soft, weak cry, not loud. But real. Viren gasped and leaned closer. The baby stirred, her tiny fingers twitching, eyes moving beneath her closed lids. Then, just for a second, her eyes opened, soft, glowing faintly blue. Meeting her mother's, she's awake. Viren whispered, tears rushing down her face. My baby. My little girl, you're alive. The pod let out a soft tone, signaling stabilization complete. The child's vitals rose to near normal levels. and her breathing steadied fully. Viren knelt on the floor, sobbing with relief, holding her daughter's tiny hand through the pod window. The door to the lab opened behind her. Cole stepped in. Dirt on his face, a burn on his arm, but standing tall, "They're gone," he said, voice low, but more could come. She woke up, Viren said, barely able to speak through her tears. "Cole, she's alive." He looked at the baby, then at the mother, and slowly smiled. "Then we did it." But deep down, he knew it wasn't over yet. Asterisk. The baby slept peacefully inside the pod, her small chest rising and falling with each soft breath. Her skin no longer looked cold. Her color had returned, and her eyes had opened, if only for a moment, to meet her mother's. It was all Viren needed to know, that her child was alive, not just in body, but in spirit. Cole stood nearby, leaning against the lab wall, his rifle resting beside him. He looked tired, blood on his arm, mud on his boots, but his eyes never left. The mother and child, he had fought for many things in the past, but never for something like this. Something so small, and yet so full of meaning. Viren turned toward him, still on her knees beside the chamber. "You saved her," she whispered. "You saved us both." Cole shook his head slowly. "No. You saved her. You carried her through a storm, through fear, through pain. I just gave you a place to rest." She smiled faintly. "And then you gave everything else." He looked down, then back at the screen showing her daughter's vitals. "She's stable now. But this place won't be safe much longer. The Dominion won't stop, not after what you escaped with." Viren nodded. "She's not just a baby to them. She's a blueprint. And they'll want her back, but they won't get her." Cole said firmly, "We'll move. I know a safe place. Underground, cut off from satellite scans. You'll both be hidden, and I can help protect you. You'd stay with us." She asked softly, almost afraid to hope. He met her eyes. "I've been alone a long time, Viren. Long enough to forget what it meant to protect someone who didn't ask for it. But now, don't want to go back to that." She stood slowly and walked toward him, still holding the baby's blanket close to her chest. "You didn't have to help me. You could have closed the door that night, pretended you didn't hear me knocking." "I tried to," Cole said quietly. "But I heard your voice in my head even before I opened that door, and I knew if I didn't act, it would haunt me forever." They both looked back at the baby, still resting inside the pod, warm and nigh. Safe. Viren wiped away a tear and said, "I want you to have something." She reached into the small pouch tied around her waist and pulled out a glowing silver ring, thin, smooth, and etched with delicate alien markings. "This is called a life bond," she explained. "Where I come from, it is given only once. Not as ownership, but as a promise. One who receives it is seen as part of the family, a protector, a guardian of our bloodline." Cole hesitated. "Are you sure? I mean, you're the only one who came when I cried," she said, placing it gently in his hand. "That's all that matters." He looked at it, then slipped it onto his finger without a word. The moment he did, the ring glowed, softly adjusting to his skin like it belonged there all along. Cole didn't believe in fate, but something about that moment made him feel chosen. The pod let out a soft chime, and the lid opened slowly with a hiss. Viren rushed forward, lifting her baby into her arms. The child whimpered softly and blinked, eyes glowing a gentle mix of teal and blue. Her tiny hand reached out and curled around her mother's finger. "She's hungry," Viren said with a soft laugh. "I never thought I'd be so happy to hear that sound." Cole stepped forward, looking down at the child. "What's her name?" Viren paused, then smiled. "I called her Elia. It means light from sorrow in my language." He nodded. "It fits." They didn't stay at the outpost long, just enough time to pack what they could. Cole erased the records from the system, wiped every signal trace, and shut the base down permanently. Then, together. The three of them vanished into the woods, heading toward a place no machine or soldier could find. Time passed and seasons changed. The world still turned. And wars still rumbled across stars far away, but in a quiet valley, hidden beneath ancient stone, a child laughed for the first time, a mother healed, and a soldier finally found peace. And whenever people asked why he disappeared, no one ever imagined that the man who once led troops into battle was now the guardian of a half-alien child, one who held the future in her hands, in the heart of a galaxy in her smile. Because on one rainy night, a woman had knocked on his door, holding a silent child and a desperate plea, and he had answered. Asterisk,